Entering the Pat Mayo Experience.
Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2021 Zurich Classic Bets Preview. I didn't look into to see if there's a one and done this week. I'm going to assume there isn't, because it's a crazy team event. Geoff Fienberg is in studio with me.
We usually get an email, like an early email.
Yeah, I didn't
get that, so I assume there is no one and
my
done.
push notification never came through, so I assume there's no one and
It
done.
would be fun if you could like burn one guy. Like I could burn.
You could burn the loser on the good team.
You burn like Palmer and you get Rom again because I used him at the Masters or something.
Good, you actually won that week. FantasyNational.com/Mayo gets you 20% off. The Zurich field is loaded in. Moose is currently working on a way for the lineup generator for DraftKings, because there are DraftKings contests for the Zurich Classic for the first time ever to manipulate the lineup generator in a way where it won't spit you out two guys on the same team, which you are not allowed to do on DraftKings this week. You can only take one guy from each team, but you get credit for the entire team.
I appreciate that they're like if people want to play,
they can play.
They didn't used to have a contest. DraftKings heard you, and now they've put out a contest. And
I like the bye week.
Okay, so they put you in like a bad spot.
Yeah, they're like, Pat, we need a video for the PGA Tour. I was like, about the Zurich? Really?
Yeah.
Like my analysis for this tournament, I did the walkthrough yesterday, and I was like trying to think out loud as I was going through it, and it basically came to the conclusion: how the fuck can you cap this? It's impossible.
How can
we're
you
bad
cap
at capping anyway. And the way that I wrote it up in the column that's up on DK Playbook right now is that not only like when you parse through statistics every single week, like there's no set way to do it. It's not, super duper accurate. It's just pieces of information that you can use potentially to your advantage, and you need a great deal of luck to go along with it in order to find a winner. So this week, if you were able to do that and parse through one of the guys that you think sets up really well, and then he gets lucky, you also have to have his random loser partner be lucky too at the same time. Like if I like Brendan Steele for this event, let's say, and Brendan Steele is dialed in the entire time. He's hitting everything to 7 feet on his approaches, and they're an alternate shot. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to stick everything inside 10 feet. Well, Keegan Bradley's his partner. He's going to make like 20% of those. Great.
Yeah, it's all a monster. I mean, my recent memory, like Palmer was on fire. He didn't screw up those Rom opportunities. Rom maybe willed him to a win, and Palmer's like, I don't get these opportunities, so you better believe I'm going to take advantage of it. There's certain it's like real exemptions, right?
Yeah, that's why you see some, when we get into the teams, there are some European guys who came over to play. Like Hogarth's here, Thomas Peters is playing, and if they win, they get their card. So it's a huge win if they can get it.
We have alternate shot, we have best ball.
It's best ball, alternate shot, best ball, alternate shot. Round one, round two, round three.
So the best ball, we get like 14 unders, and then alternate shot, it can be like insane, or there's a team that is great.
Yeah, so the way that you can kind of look at it is 2 of the 3 54-hole leaders have closed this event. Cam Smith and Blix held on in the playoff in 2017 against Kisner and Brown. And then Rom and Palmer were co-leaders after 54 rounds, and they shot like the course record in alternate shot. And they were tied with Scott Stallings and Trey Mullenix, who shot like 79 in alternate shot.
And you can't... there's only been 2 years?
3 years.
So Blix and Cam.
Horschel and QAnon.
Horschel and who?
Scott Piercy.
Oh, so if you gave me 2 seconds, I would have gone on.
I was speaking with, shout out to Tom Jacobs and Sky, who bailed me out for the month. I haven't hit a winner in so fucking long. And they put me on John Catlin 70-1. Hit it. Just like, perfect. What I need to do is just listen to the European Tour picks and bet show, win money there so I can afford to lose the money back here. Oh, we recorded the Gambling Movie Club show as well. Me, Davis, and Overzet.
Owning
Mahoney. That's probably going to come out in 2 weeks on Mayo Media Network, so go check that out. Remember to smash the like button for the episode too, and in the comment section, give me your favorite like random winner for this event. Because I think the move for me this week, I'm just going to bet 4 teams and hope one of them wins. I have no real I have a method to picking teams besides me just liking like 2 guys that are on one team. We'll get into all of that in a second.
That's a pretty strong method.
But the key that I want to come down with, and Tom kind of broke this down for me, and it was along the same lines that I was at. The 2 things that I'm looking for is I want 2 guys that kind of have similar skill sets. I feel like that's worked out really well, although Blixt and Smith are kind of off the board. But like Piercy and Horschel, kind of the same games. Rom and Palmer, like we call Palmer like the homeless man's Rom. Like obviously he's not as good as Rom, but they have kind of the same skill set.
Yeah, I've never been there.
You don't think that they do?
No.
Technical difficulties. We're back now. You don't see the Palmer and Rom thing. It's just
It broke the camera.
It did broke the camera.
Listen, I see it, and I have to plead ignorance, or no, ignorance is the wrong word. I'm not smart. I have to acknowledge that I was one time a part of you and I referring to David Lingmerth as the poor man's Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean. Palmer, poor man's Rom.
I just don't feel like their skill sets are all dissimilar. Palmer's worse at everything than Rom is, but they hit Palmer doesn't drive it quite as far with Rom, but there's not a huge gap there.
So
they're both good iron players. Rom's good around the greens. Palmer's not a disaster. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, I would agree. So to that, like the champ Finau team is more attractive than Morikawa Wolf. Just like
To me, a little
from
bit.
a skill set,
Yeah.
not so much the fact that one team is guys that win all the time. Well, not all the time, but Wolf's a born winner and Morikawa is the man.
Yeah, we've never seen really. I don't think that Rom and Palmer were the favorites the year that they won.
They couldn't have been too far down the board.
No, because they have Rom on their team. But like the overwhelming, because it's not really like when you look at it on paper, it's not a super team. It's Rom and Ryan Palmer.
Yeah, not a
It's
super team.
Like we used to get like Cantley and Reed. And
You
I feel
used
like,
to get,
Stenson and Rose, who are still a team right now, but it
Day
doesn't.
and Scott, we
it-
got like a couple power
It doesn't
teams.
feel like those teams ever do well.
No, it doesn't.
Like Fleetwood and Chris Paisley are a good team for whatever reason.
No, you're right. The power teams haven't really risen, although Rom was probably top 5 on the board. And if the odds were anything like this year's,
I don't think that they were.
they couldn't have been north of 15. But yeah, I see what you are saying. The power couples have shown up here and not really done well.
Yeah, and we have a few like power couple teams here, new teams, mind you, with that we've seen year over year. Palmer actually had a top 5 with Spieth the first year that it was here too. They came tied for 4th. So I don't think there's a lot of like rhyme or reason to this. You have to get lucky to win a bet anyway. They kind of have to get super lucky, but there's only 80 people in the field. I did want to talk about Heritage for a second though, and I wanted to give a big shout out. Matt wrote me a nice email, so shout out Matt. We're thinking about you. Over here at the show, and 2 huge winners this week. 2 5 over $10,000 winners, viewers of the show. Forgot the names because that's me. Busy week coming up, and I probably should say that you and I are doing this show, and then we're doing next week's show for the Valspar, and then I'm moving, and then I have to go into a two-week quarantine, so we might not be doing a Quail Hollow show.
We'll see.
If I have the ability tech-wise to get up and running, then we will do it. So in the place of the golf show on Monday, 2 weeks from now, the Custy Awards. Always good times.
And then, yeah, we'll see what
And
happens.
then we'll just be fine. I have a whole bunch of shows ready to go. That's why the movie club is coming out in 2 weeks. I have enough shows to get me by until we can get up and running at a new studio. And I build a new studio. It's never fun moving across the country.
I'm going to miss you.
Yeah, we'll see each other plenty. Once the restrictions are all
Yeah,
lifted,
freaking restrictions.
we'll be fine. You try to go, although you cannot go golfing at your golf club because you cannot play golf in this province. Your golf club is getting the Canadian Open, 2 of like the next 4 years or something.
2023 and 2026. So that's exciting. I guess I'm lucky that my dad was a member, and before my dad, my grandfather was a member. So legacy seaman, I get a golf at a nice club.
So how do they set that up? It's 27 holes, right?
They will probably pick a hybrid of the ones that work. Listen,
Is it long enough?
it is not. It is not long. It is not very difficult. Although there are a lot of like blind shots into greens, and they could, make it narrow and turn the greens up. But I don't know what they could do to really make it like a test, to be honest.
Dry it out?
I don't know what they could do. That being said, I don't think their priority is like a low scoring Open. They've gone to the Abbey. They're happy to see guys like compete at 23 under for a win. Are they not?
I don't think that they care all that much. I think the main concern with the Canadian Open was finding a course in downtown Toronto.
Yeah, they wanted a course like near downtown Toronto that was suitable. There are a lot of things. Like there's a big reno going on there right now. As you can see, I'm excited. There's like a sense of pride. There still needs to be a membership vote.
Oh, so that
So
hasn't
it still
happened.
needs to pass membership. Now, you probably got these like and maybe people who I'm talking to right now will side with this like very small but probably vocal minority. These are the old men who have the privilege of literally golfing like
7 days a week.
7 days a week. Will probably play at least 5 of those days a week. Like the thought of them losing their course for
3 weeks?
3 weeks in the heart of a summer does not bode well. But you have to understand, that's like 50 guys. This vote is open to like the whole membership. So there's no way they could like win that because there's a lot of people who just like the prestige of it. So yeah, I'm excited. I don't know if yeah. So there it is. 2023, 2026. 2026, 100-year anniversary of the club.
Of the club. And what's Canadian Open at?
I'm
like
not sure.
120 or something? It's one of the oldest opens in the world. I think it's
Now,
the
listen,
third oldest.
Yeah.
Behind the US and the British.
It's like listen, like history is this like weird way of like repeating itself, Pat, where like they had to make this club because they wouldn't let Jews into the other clubs. So Jews had to then just make their own place to golf. And then it became a place where Jews would only let Jews into the club. And it's like this vicious cycle of I don't know what the word is, but that's like past. Like it's an open, I think. I don't know.
Well, they take non-Jewish
Yes,
members
now they do. Yes. I don't know like how many. It's a whole thing.
Well, you brought me there last year and I played with you.
Yeah.
But I hadn't smoked weed in ages. I
You
took a big rip off this cannon that you had passed out in the golf cart.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder how much you remember because you greened out in your experience when you're like maybe trying to recall it when they go back there. Yeah. So you got to sit in the cart for a few holes. That's a bad memory day for me because that's the day.
Yeah, Derwin got hurt.
Yeah, Derwin was out for the year in training camp, and my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. And I'm just trying to have a nice afternoon golfing.
Your phone lit up like a Christmas tree. You're trying to golf, and I'm sitting there like, spinning in the cart next to you.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool. I think it's exciting. I'm excited for the prospect of like, I don't know, just like that's my club.
But you like the prestige that comes along with it more so than playing 4 rounds during those 3 weeks.
In 2023, I won't have like my kids. I won't have like newborns, so like maybe like I'll be playing more. I don't know. I still won't be at a point where I could play like enough where it's gonna matter. Like I don't know. And they usually accommodate people. Like they can play at other places, like free of.
Yeah, well, it's probably a good look for the city in general, even if one course is holding the tournament, that they would allow members to go play at one of the other like ritzy courses.
Just listen, anytime, like it's a thing. Like if your course is doing major renovations, you can like your members can go play there. And then when you're doing like major renovations and your course is like closed for whatever reason, you can play there. It's this whole like give and take.
Well,
so I don't think people are that mad. And these guys, they're old enough, they're rich enough. Like go take your wife to Europe for 2 weeks if you're like that turned off. Like hey, that's a good excuse. You lose your course. I'm not like no.
Will they allow the other 9 holes just to be open to play?
No, I think they're going to have to use some of it as like a parking lot. They're going to have to like make it more of like a driving range because our driving range cannot hold what these guys can.
No,
do.
and then you would hit it onto the highway.
Onto street. So so like I guess the whole the whole grounds would be I guess taken over. But yeah, that's exciting. Great chicken fingers.
Nice
if they want to come,
clubhouse.
Yeah, nice. And the women, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to do a whole locker room renovation. Like you think it's nice? I bet you they're gutting that place right now.
How does that work for the finances for the club?
They are hosting it or this renovation that is like very much cost overrunning at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's probably a way to get out from underneath the financial burden if it is going over budget, that the PGA just gives you so much money or RBC gives you so much money because they're the title sponsor. But I would have to think that it's in the best interest of the club financially to do one of these things.
Yeah, I don't know. It's prestigious. I like that.
You get to call yourself a member at a course where
they're hosting. And I'll be there. And maybe is this thing in 2023? Who knows what sort of credentials I could have in my own place.
You have double credentials.
Double
credentials from this show. And then I'm trying to get into a club.
Listen, I just want to make sure my locker gets like to someone important.
Tony.
I'll clean out my shoes for you.
Just say like Tony Finau has to have this one.
Does he even come?
Ricky will. Ricky will be like, if he's not.
Ricky might have to come.
I mean, if he's not on the Corn Ferry Tour, maybe he can get in.
Yeah, he'd have to play his way into the U.S. Open the next week.
That's right. I'm trying to get. I tried to join a club where I'm moving because it's very close to my house. Like, hey, if I can drive like 7 minutes and get to a golf course, this sounds great. Waiting list.
And that's.
I know there's a big waiting list. Like, it's just, especially with golf membership spiking, but this club in particular has a lot of old members. And it's actually 2 courses. One's actually out by Cust, and the other one's by me inside the city.
So they'll fall off, no? Well, that's the.
But they want newer members, but now there's this giant waiting list, and they're only like letting old people in. So I was trying to think, like, can I use this position to leverage myself into a golf club? I don't think that I can. Know. Although I think that there's a write-up about me with pictures in the next issue of Golf Digest.
There.
So, like, I'll walk and be like, hey, do you want guys being written about in Golf Digest as a member of your club? But you also have to let Cust in, too.
I don't listen. It would be advantageous because before the pandemic, like, it feels like country club golf was in, like, a very awkward spot financially because a lot of people, like, in and of our age, like, do not have the resources. It's like very common that like our generation's the first ever
to not join country clubs.
No, not that. And everyone is their own case. And some guys probably blink a DFS contest as more than their dad made in a long time. But we are like, it's common knowledge, I believe, that we are of a generation that is more likely to be less successful than their parents.
Yes. And when I looked at the prices, because growing up, like considering this, like the membership at this course, if anyone from this course in particular, now there's 2 of them that you get the membership to, one downtown, one elsewhere. So you know where I'm talking about. I don't want to give you a free shout out on the show if I can't become a member. But if anyone there wants Pat Mayo and potentially Tim Andacust as members at your club, please reach out to Pat Mayo because I would like to get bumped to the very top of that waiting list, if at all possible. But the rates are like 1/3 of what they were when I was growing up. Like,
yeah, of course,
they're really trying to get members.
Well, COVID,
but they won't let anyone in.
COVID created like more of a demand, but they were sort of all places had really gone on price decreases before. And if you want to score some free rounds as you're like pretending to scout locations, you tell them like I'm a prospective member and they'll
let me play for free.
Yeah.
See, the one thing I am looking forward to that I want to set up is now that I be back in Nova Scotia, I can play cabin.
Yeah.
Because you can't just go there and play right now.
I'd like to.
Because they have the huge bubble. Maybe that's what we'll try to do for British Open if restrictions are lifted. Or even like week 1 of football. We'll get you out early. We can film at my new studio. And we can go up there and play for a weekend.
I'm excited. I like the concept of, come out. I'll sleep at Paul's.
I'll have space. I'll have space too. You can sleep in the studio. The plan is that where I haven't been able to go there. Like we bought a house. My house closed today, actually. It's officially ours, which is nice after a lot of complications because of COVID. But I want to buy an alternate house or building to build the studio and to build a stand-up spot in, have editing bays, and like really try to blow out Mayo Media, but not having the ability to go see these houses or like potential locations is really tough. Like it's one thing for, it's funny because it's one thing for a house.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Like that's also pretty tough and you pulled it off.
It is. But like my dad is there like walking through and like the real estate agent walking through on FaceTime and everything like that. So we get a sense of what it's like. We have the blueprints. We can see the sizes of the rooms and everything like that. But when it comes to the studio, because there's certain like like the ceilings are kind of high here. I need higher ceilings so we can fit the lights in. And sometimes that stuff is really difficult to parse through when you're looking at pictures online trying to buy a house. You can see how good the Zurich Classic is, by the way, by what we're talking about here.
I don't know. We would have had these conversations off air, so I guess we just had them.
Yeah, we need to extend the show a little bit.
I had to have them on air.
We can call this if anyone listens to the Mark Maron podcast. Mark Maron podcast. I'm gonna say Mark Marrow. But he's not with Sable anymore.
No.
He has the giant Marin Open, so that's what we're doing here. I tuned out of the Heritage. I got really excited because Catlin hit in the morning. I was like, oh, this is going to be such a profitable day when A, Morikawa shoots 62, or, Matt Wallace goes out and shoots 63, Sink stumbles, and that's game over, and I'm cashing some big money here. The best result would have been if somehow Morikawa wins, Wallace comes third, cashes the each way, Camillo sneaks inside the top 20. I'm looking fine. I went back and looked at it. There were 3 players who shot over par who finished inside the top 25 at the Heritage.
All 3.
All my guys. Great. Thanks for showing up. And Morikawa walked in his birdie putt on 1. I was like, it is fucking on. And then 3 holes later, I had to tune out because I was so fucking depressed at a shit show he put on. I've never seen him play that poorly, ever.
That was pretty weird. He tilted himself pretty quickly because he even piped his drive on 2. I don't know. It wasn't in like it wasn't a bit of a bad runoff area, but,
No, but
whatever.
Then
Even you make the par, you just move on.
Yeah, but
the
chip didn't even go on the green. He sculled like 3 chips.
Missed a lot of putts, even early in the week. Who is more the captain of if he putts, he wins?
It's him and
Morikawa
JT.
or JT?
They're the same guy, except the difference is JT is so good around the greens that it allows him a bit of flexibility that even if he's not putting well, his par putts aren't coming from 9 feet. They're coming from like 3 feet, which is a huge advantage.
Obviously, but now let me ask you this, because obviously we've determined, like when we are talking of a super elite, we haven't really put Morikawa, like elite. Okay, fine. So then Morikawa is the worst putter of the super elites. Then you can hand JT doesn't, like, because when I'm discussing like Bryson, JT, Dustin, like sort of those guys, maybe just from an odds board super elite, like the guys, if we were looking at the PGA, are 15-1 and under.
Yeah.
Morikawa is probably still 22.
Yes.
Maybe.
So he doesn't get the respect from the odds book. And like I said, he has a crippling part of his game that can take him out of a tournament, like we just saw, the chipping and the putting. But we've seen other instances where, the
scoring was too easy at the Heritage, maybe for Morikawa to win. Although concessions, he ran so pure, and he
made all the putts. Like that's the thing that it came down to. That's what I wrote about last week with him, and that he's always a good value to bet because he has now gained strokes since the beginning of like last COVID, like when golf came back. He's gained strokes in a tournament 6 times in a tournament. He's gained strokes putting. One of them was the U.S. Open. And in those 6 tournaments where he's gained strokes putting, he's won 3 times. So if you just get lucky and he makes some putts that week, he's probably going to win.
What's amazing is, as I knew we would talk about this today, me sort of saying, because I agree with you, like if anyone is joining, if we're making any adjustments to that super elite, it's like Morikawa is maybe in there, even if it's on the back end. So I had a feeling I'd bring up this Justin Morikawa putt to win conversation. And that had me remember the workday last year where they both, I guess, putted.
Yeah,
and then they both hit insane putts, like the craziest sequence of putts. I don't know, maybe outside the Rory Reed Ryder Cup green. Like, and that was probably crazier because it was an actual stroke play tournament.
Yeah, just JT hit his from like 50 feet in the playoff from across the green. And then Morikawa had this like 20-footer down a hill bender. It's like, oh, fuck, he's lost. And then boom, in. And then JT got stuck behind that little tree on the next hole. And that was the end of it. But it's no different, like, because people will say, oh, he can't putt or he can't chip. Therefore, like, he's not super elite. But I think that there's 2 ways to look at it when you're assessing the very top end players. And it has a lot to do with consistency. That's why Rory, for so long, was considered like the elite of the elite. That
takes you to Sunday.
When he turns it on, he's going to win. But even if he doesn't really have it, he's always just there because he's so good at everything. Dustin is a prime example of that. Dustin had nothing going on this week. When he come like 11th or something like that, like he played fine.
Yeah. 10 under, actually.
Yeah, he finished 10 under.
Yeah.
So he's just consistent. Rahm is another one. They're just consistently there. There's nothing they do particularly poorly that causes them to have wildly fluctuating results. Now, Justin Thomas, he kind of does. Now, he is consistent, more so than Morikawa is, but he has these weeks where he's just like, oh, he lost 8 strokes putting. Great, he's done. Like, he missed the cut. Rory is falling into that bucket now, too, because he's no longer consistent. But the guy who I think is the best comparison to Morikawa, although they do things completely differently, is Bryson. Because Bryson, when
volatility.
When Bryson hits his irons well, he's fucking impossible to beat.
The
but when he doesn't, like, he's not going to have a great week.
It's like, I'm betting Bryson. I might get boom. I might get bust. But like, I'm taking.
But look at the wins. When Bryson, Thomas, and Morikawa put it together, they win.
Okay, I want to just step back at this because Morikawa's floor isn't like double bogeys because he drove it like 3 things sideways.
True, it's double bogey because he chipped it 2 feet in front of him.
But he still came like 5th play. He's not as volatile, like from a scorecard perspective.
Agreed, but
like his floor isn't scorecard low like Bryson's because like he can't get himself out of position. I think like Bryson can. So I agree and I
That's why I say,
from a betting
perspective, I'm saying, like winning perspective.
Yeah, I do agree. And as much as people want to laugh at what I'm about to say next, and like you always bring it back to this loser,
it's Spieth. Spieth's the same way in a way.
Same way. And as much as I've always said, like the fact that Finau doesn't have 2, 3, 4 wins because he's missing like a Patrick Reed element inside him.
Reed's actually a really good comp for a lot of this because Reed could just be god awful one tournament. You're like, and that means nothing.
But that's why
going into the next tournament.
But yeah, and he almost like you left last week's Masters, and I said, you know what, man? Anytime they make like Reed 35-40, just because you just bet him because he protects you when the course plays a certain way. But Finau, like he should have 3 or 4 wins, but he's not Patrick Reed, and he should have 1 win, but he's incredibly unlucky. But the books don't really buy any of that, and they see a guy that contends a ton, takes a ticket that goes off at 30, and at some point we have a live line at 14, so I'm not making him 60-1 to win the tournament, even though you feel, not you specifically, but you feel like, no, I never bet him at the same number as a Patrick Reed who wins, or a who else gets
I would say
there?
that there's sort of a distinct group of players like Reed, Bryson, and Morikawa in one bucket, and then like Xander and Finau in another bucket where they're consistent like the elite players. That's why they get valued the way that they are. They just don't win.
They
And
don't
eventually they are going to win. That's not the argument here. Is that the other guys have such specific skill sets and do certain things so well. Like almost to bring it back, like Ryan Palmer's sort of like the homeless man's John Rahm. Denny McCarthy is like the homeless man's Patrick Reed. Like they do kind of the same things well. It's just the tee to green game for Denny, unless he's making hole-in-ones, which he appears to every 2 weeks now. But like when Reed runs well, he's really good.
Yeah.
Maybe Siwoo Kim is a better example with Reed in that.
No,
too.
I think Reed is fair.
Like when they're rolling, like it's like, oh my god, who are these guys? But there's no consistency to their games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Reed wins a lot more than Siwoo. I actually think it's fair to like you in each level. Like Bryson, Morikawa, Reed are incredibly similar.
Yeah, they're the elite version of this player.
Of this player that just went. You bet them, they'll run through that starts. You'll get your money back by just betting them.
But when we say like the elite skill, it was almost like Keimer for years that he would just kind of show up. But like Siwoo and Na are the other ones. Like I don't know what week Na is going to be good, but when he's good, he's really good.
But the thing about those 3 guys that gets them the wins, like you sort of were alluding to, Reed, Bryson, and Morikawa, is they have a skill set that is so off the charts good. And the thing that we've had the conversation that I think can hold back, that seemingly sometimes holds back maybe Finau or Xander, is like it's just
it's a level playing field.
It's just this level. Yeah. Like it's like they don't have, like they're so good across the board. That's why like US Opens, PGA Championships, like the perfect sort of game plan or skill sets without the weakness. But these guys win that just the thing they're great at dominates.
They're way better than everyone else at. Like Morikawa and JT, that's why I think the JT and Morikawa are close in that regard, because their irons are just on a different level than everyone else's. Like the weeks that Morikawa makes his 9-foot putts, he's gonna win by like 6 strokes.
And Will Zalatoris like third? I don't know where he will belong, but I don't like people might soon want to put him in. Another name on that chain?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's proven it. It seemed like he got kind of gassed out on the weekend at Heritage, which he should have been. It's been a big few weeks.
Sharp bet. I saw a few people playing it. Big plus money. Stewart versus Will Z yesterday at like a plus 160, just on that full logic.
What did Sink even end up shooting?
1 under
for the day.
Yeah. We finished at 19 because he made the birdie on 17.
It's funny because on the weekend he allowed everyone to catch him, and no one did.
Yeah.
The only guy who made a run with Griot made a run early. Actually, Mav McNeely made a run early because he was like 5 under through 6. Then he gave it back. And then Griot got within like 3. And Sink was just playing. He was just playing sacrifice bunt, slap singles the other way.
At the leaderboard.
And his fucking putting from off the green was out of control.
And you know what? Even before it like made it to TV, like early in the Saturday broadcast, Dottie said, the son, the caddy son, like told him no, like his off the green putts, the speed is like insane. And you just saw that come to fruition the entire weekend. But you're right, no one really chased him. If you'd have said 19 wins, someone's gonna get him.
I would have said Morikawa
Someone
wins.
Gets him because we get to 20 here. Like that's not an issue.
It's only been done twice.
Well, the weather laid down though a lot of the week, but Sink just did what he had to do. And Pat,
he had every break in the book.
Yes.
Every time he hit a cart path, it bounced to the right spot. When he had that lie on the branch on Saturday, it was in the perfect spot for the ball to be up against a branch somehow.
Yeah, I guess.
Like 1 foot over there, he has to play it out sideways or take a drop.
And made it great. She's like, no, I'm going to take the whole thing with it.
Yep.
That was a great play. And he almost made that putt from off the green. What was I saying? So, yeah, they kind of let Sink back in the statistics, man. I think he let them off the hook with the putter.
Oh, he did.
Especially
he could have shot like minus 27 or something.
The guy's 47 years old. What did he finish driving stats this week? Now, maybe he can go full bear while other guys are like, I can't really go full bear here. Like, his ability to go full bear.
Yeah, but he's not short off the tee.
No, but you know what? Like, there's certain guys like that have to hold back where he knows, like, I can really just give it and I'll still be fine here.
Yeah, but it was funny because the putting wasn't great on Saturday. And it was like okay on Sunday. But like his driving all week wasn't great. Like he was like to the left and to the right. But it was like we talked about coming into the week is experience matters at Heritage in the way that Sink just played it, where he wasn't hitting all the fairways or anything like that. But he knew like, oh, if I miss left on this hole, I'm still okay. As long as I don't miss right, it's fine. So we can kind of go at it that way, like having the angle into the green where you're not blocked. He just knew where to miss. Yeah, it's super savvy.
And it seemed like, at least in the post-round discussions, he said that's really all him and the Sun spoke about. Was like every night, or when they got the tee sheets and the pin placements, they're like they kind of just plotted the whole day.
Yeah, where can I miss? Where do I? What side of the fairway?
And he went in the water on his first hole of the tournament, Pat. What a way, man! Second win. Great.
Well, no. So what do you think contributed more to his victory? Was it Tyndall pointing out that Sink's wins all come the week after majors? Great stat.
Where he like had a T20 even in the majors.
Yeah. And I didn't bet it. Did you?
A small piece.
Yeah, but nothing to write home about.
I was pretty happy with what happened, but I didn't like tout it.
If you threw $5 down on it, you want like $7.
I didn't tout it, but I wasn't like retweeting that tweet all weekend for nothing.
Yeah,
there are some people that like hated seeing the retweet because they saw it. They're just like,
I listen, man. I looked at it and I was like, fucking give your head a shake on this nonsense. Turns out he was right. Or was it Tim Andercust on the Cut Sweat show last week when we were discussing Stuart Sink, said he hasn't won a real tournament this season. So he had to go and win a real tournament. Just throwing shade at Stuart Sink.
Listen.
Then he was talking about how Sink stole Tom Watson's Open Championship from him. Then he was all triggered.
Sink, you said, like, he's so honest. Like, I love playing golf. And these guys that come, they're so good. They're so young. They make it real hard for me to stay out here. So I've, like, just worked that much harder. And I don't want to leave. And now he got his win, so he's hanging around, and it's all setting up for him. That was freaking awesome. And I'm not kidding. Maybe I shouldn't feel this confident, Pat, but the same way when Davis Love III won Wyndham, I'm like,
good news for Tiger.
Tiger's at home. Like, to me, Tiger felt great yesterday. Like, Tiger feels this. I can do this. Like, we are going to do this, man. This guy just did it. I'll figure it out. And while he's laying bed rest, you know what's happening in his backyard? His whole, like, facility's being redone.
Did you mimic Harbour Town?
I don't know what it's being mimicked, but the overhead shots show, like, it's a completely, like, the bulldozers are in there. Like, he is, like, because he's obviously, like, he can't play at the moment. So he's like, this is the perfect time to do, like, a major renovation to my facilities. So that's what's happening. And he's gonna give her. Like, I don't want to turn Sink's win into like this Tiger moment, but it kind of turned into one for me personally.
A lot of Pete Dye on the schedule. I always forget it every single year because this week's going to be Pete Dye again at TPC Louisiana. Then we have 2 coming up next month with Travelers and the PGA Championship. That'll make 6 in 3 months after the Players and match play.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And then this year it feels like it's a lot, but then you look back, no, most of these courses are
same every year.
Are location spots.
Abraham Answer is not afraid to come T13 at every Pete Dye.
And I'm not afraid to bet them.
They're just T20. We just played T20s on these guys. We'd be doing a lot better, I think.
What
happened to Webb on Sunday? Did he just use up all the good momentum on Saturday?
Not really sure. They only showed him. I saw him when like Sung Jae made like a quad or something on the par 5.
So he made the quad. That was the only worse than bogey. There were only 3 players made bogey or worse on number 2.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say here.
And
Wallace and
it was
Morikawa.
Wallace. So Sung Jae makes a triple, and then Wallace and Morikawa come through and make a bogey. It's like, what is going on here today? Did the comeback from Catlin, I think, sucked out all the good mo that I had going my way.
Yeah, hey, credit, man. Tyndall with that great sink pick. And there are a lot of our friends across the pond, and even Sky over here at FTN. Catlin was real. He's been popular for a while.
Well, he wins a lot. He's one of those guys that on the European Tour, I think he has 3 wins.
This was
now.
his third. He had one.
I think it's 3 wins and 17 starts. And when he doesn't win, he's like last place.
That was,
He's
just
just one of those
a
guys.
4-hole playoff. That was, and it was boring. They played the same little Muni 18th, which was a par 3 like 5 times.
Is that, I can't remember because the European Tour schedule is out of whack. Is that the same course that had like the 7-man playoff like 2 years ago? Like Rory was in it and Hatton was in it.
I don't know.
And the winner ended up being like some jabroni. I felt bad for Raza though, because Maximilian Kiefer's his guy. Always bets him.
Yeah, and then you're like doing the whole Kiefer story. 9 years, never won. Like, I don't know. You could tell he was getting into it. And this Catlin was like, I don't know. Like these PGA young kids. I'm not comparing him on a talent level. He's like, nah, like I'm already, like he's just going for the pit. Like
He's American, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what his deal is though. Because now he's like 59th in the world.
Yeah.
Or
Like,
something crazy.
He'll probably end up coming over. Remember Brooks did this?
Yes.
Brooks
yeah.
didn't want to play Corn Ferry. He just went over and played like Challenger Tour, then Euro, and then came over. Because we were just like, this Brooks Koepka guy's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's pretty good.
Was there any final? Oh, I bet Kurt Kitayama this week. It's a new course for Euro. He's 28-1, so you can take him. He plays well at these like coastal courses. He hasn't won in a while. He's another guy who just kind of wins on the European Tour. So let's bet him. Another American. Hey, you. Yeah, you. You got Bush? You definitely do. If you haven't tried the best products from our sponsor today, Manscaped. After using these life-changing products, you're going to want to enter a ballsack beauty contest, pal, because I'm looking out for you too, because I have an exclusive 20% off discount. Use code MAYO, M-A-Y-O, at manscaped.com. Look, if you're new to the trimming game and are sporting a, let's say, Arbusto Grande down there, digging in with a straight razor isn't advised. Trust me on that one. That's where Manscaped comes in. Manscaped is dedicated to helping you level up your body grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0 kit. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the Essential Lawnmower 3.0, waterproof, cordless body trimmer, and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. This is the best trimmer to help you trim up the hedges. This trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by, guess who? Manscaped. And when you trim your hedges, the tree stands taller. Inside that perfect package, you'll find the Manscaped Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, making sure your balls are smelling majestic before your Tinder date. You'll also find the Crop Reviver Ball Toner, a spray-on testy toner that's designed to make your balls smell irresistible. Be sure to add their refined cologne to your arsenal as well. With the perfect package or the performance package purchase, you get 2 free gifts. The Shed Travel Bag, $39 value add, and the patented high-performance reduced chafing Manscaped Boxers. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code MAYO at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for your bush trimming experience. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code MAYO at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code MAYO. It's 2021 and you still got bush? Change that with Manscaped. Let's get into it. Zurich Classic team event, 80 teams in the field. The top 35 in ties are going to make the cut this week. All of the stats and field are loaded into fantasynational.com. So fantasynational.com/Mayo to get everything worked out. I hope Moose has his mind on the simulator. Like I mentioned, Raman Palmer won at 26 under. Horschel and Scott Piercy 22 under. Blixt and Cam Smith at 27 under the first year of this event. The best team in terms of alternate shot, where this, honestly, that's where this tournament is won and lost. It's the alternate shot. If you play well in alternate shot, you're going to be inside the top 5. So Palmer and Rahm were 65-69 in alternate shot. The year before that, in 2018, Bubba and Cooch were 67-74. Horschel and Piercy, who won, were 73-67. My guys, Seamus Power and David Hearn, 72 and 68. And Duffner and Perez were good that year too. The year before that, Spieth and Palmer, 66 and 70. Hoffman and Watney, who are still a team, never missed a cut at this event, by the way, 67 and 69th. I just ran the custom model on Fantasy National. Charlie Hoffman, number 1 over the past 24 rounds. Does that mean we are betting Charlie Hoffman and Nick Watney to win this event? I don't even know what their odds are.
I'm seeing a 70.
70? Could those be one of the 4 bombs that we're taking here?
I could be on that list, sure.
So if we go to the very top of the odds boards, the defending champs are the favorites. Palmer and Rahm are 6-1. Like, I don't think 6-1 is a great number, even though it's a small field in a team event. Cantlay and Schauffele, 6.5. Leishman and Smith, 14. Same as Morikawa and Wolf. Scheffler and Bubba are 16-1. Bubba has a solo win at this event back in 2011. Champ and Finau, 18. Burns and Horschel. Hatton and Willett. Todd and Kirk, all 25. And Louis Oosthuizen and Charles Schwartzel, the South Africans, are 28-1 to win the Zurich Classic. If I had to bet anyone from the top, I would probably bet Horschel and Burns.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be really popular this week, so I might not make the bet.
Now, let me tell you this, because that's funny you said that. A bunch of people like, no, I think they're a sleeper team to me. I'm like, no, watch. They're going to be the most popular team because
Horschel's won this as a pair. Horschel's won it solo. And Sam Burns went to LSU. You can't overlook that.
Well, firstly, you'll be super triggered all week because you're the guy that like can't stand like college references. Half these teams are probably like college twosomes. So you're going to get that the majority of the week. And yeah, I've seen this number even like flirting with 28, I want to say, Pat. It's a good like north of 25 or above where people feel like that's a like I feel okay starting there. And it's a team that makes a lot of sense. So I think they will be very popular. Probably the most popular team under 30-1 from a betting standpoint.
If we go back and look at some of the like best scores in terms of the best ball, they're not teams that you would expect. Like I believe that Scott Brown and Kisner have the record for best ball. It's like 12 under or something like that.
I'm surprised it's not higher.
Me too, but I think they set it up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. You get this like Castro Tringali team at 55-1. Like I don't know.
They come top 10 here before.
Yeah, guys just 2 PGA Tour pros. You pick the lower score. Like someone's gonna shoot 14 under. No,
I would think so, but that just never seems to happen. And then alternate shot, like I mentioned, I do want to take guys that I think have similar skill sets. I think that just makes things comfortable for them. The other way to look at it, Tom Jacobs is the one who brought this up to me. The reason that he bet Horschel and Piercy the year that they ended up winning was Horschel was playing pretty well and he was putting really well. And we've just known him to putt really well at this course over the years. And Piercy was striking the shit out of the ball going into it. And being Scott Piercy was losing like 5 strokes putting. He's like, well, if Horschel can take advantage of the Piercy close shots and Horschel's just playing well anyway, that should make up the gap. And it did. That's how they ended up winning, is Horschel made all the putts. Piercy made enough, but was hitting his irons so well. And that's sort of the Burns case this week with Horschel, is that Burns, since the final round at Riviera, has been horrendous off the tee and on the greens. But the irons are still fine. The chipping is still fine. That if he can get his driving back to normal and potentially a familiar location, Billy Ho is putting well enough that he might be able to carry them.
Yeah, listen. I said this to you, under 30-1. This is probably the team I would like to bet. I don't mind Willett and Hatton.
I was going to say, well, Willett and...
I don't mind that one.
It's funny the disrespect. I mean, because Hatton finished okay on the weekend. He had his classic bad first round, very solid second round.
Great second down showdown player after that.
All you wanted to do, the key to winning Friday showdown on DraftKings at the Heritage was play all UK guys. They all went like 7 under par.
Like Fitz, Willett, Hatton.
Fleetwood was like 600 and still missed the cut.
Yeah, like Tom Lewis. Yeah, they all.
But Willett and Hatton, it's just funny that you see like Scheffler and Bubba get so much respect here because Scheffler's high in the world. Obviously, Bubba's won here before, but they're 16-1. Like Leishman and Smith get a 14-1. Like Hatton's like the 3rd best player in this field, so he's not getting the name value bump that.
Or is he just getting dragged down?
I don't think so. Willett's been like okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm asking. Like,
I don't know. I just think that they're not sexy to bet on. So Kirk and Todd, that could be if Kirk continues to hit his irons and Todd's putter shows up. Game over.
Georgia.
And both those guys can scramble.
Yeah, that's the Bulldogs.
What did Todd do And Todd made the cut.
If Todd has been decent, this might be the bet, to be honest.
Let's see.
I don't know.
At
To
Harry,
win?
he was 39th. He hasn't missed a cut in ages. He hasn't had like any great performances. The irons have been
Can I
atrocious
bet them to top 3?
for him. You can bet them top 5 if you want to. So yeah, I'd be looking at the lower end of this. Charles and Louis came top 3 here before, but I'll take a hard pass.
Are we going? You're going up there?
No, I'm not going to take
sorry.
Charles or Louis. Do you want to go to the next range?
No, I didn't. Let's just sort of talk about like Cantley Shoffley. It's unbettable. They are the power team though this year, like the powerhouse.
Agreed.
Team.
Yeah, I just
if they like
6.5
do
to
it
1.
and they're awesome, like good for them.
Yeah.
Was it Leishman and Cam Smith? They played together. They played together at that Templeton thing.
So I had the results from that very handy in front of me because I thought you might bring this up. Teams that from there, well, Sabatini and Tway aren't playing together. They're both playing in this tournament. Tway plays with Kelly Craft in this tournament. They've had a lot of success. Kevin Tway is in every single one of these team events, by the way, and he tends to do pretty well in them. Sabatini and Tway were T2 out of 12 teams. Cam Smith and Finau were T5, and Leishman and Cam Champ and Finau were T5. Leishman and Cam Smith were T8 or out of 12 teams. So they weren't great together, but it was fucking 3 rounds of best ball.
Finau and Cam Champ. There's I don't know. The Willett Hatton team.
At least you would expect them to putt.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to pull a trigger down here.
Yeah.
I've made a bet. It's higher up though.
Okay, so let's go to the next range where we start getting into some of these teams. The odds vary all over the place. We're using DraftKings Sportsbook for our odds. So you got Gooch and Homa, Varner and Grace. A team actually I don't mind. They're 35 to 1. Kokrak and Perez was the team I was looking at. They're 40 to 1 on DraftKings Sportsbook, but I've seen them as low as 70 in other spots. So that would be a team I would look at. Steele and Keegan, Ann and Im, Fratelli and Streelman, Hovland and Ventura. Rose and Stenson, they're all at 45. Then you got the Glove and Reevy. They've had some success as a team. They're 50. Lewis and Peters are 50. Castro and Tringali, 55, along with Noren and Norlander. Lonto and Damon, Kisner and Brown at 60. I thought 50 to 1 were awesome odds on Kisner to Brown. And then I bet like the worst number possible. But I don't understand why they're so low on this list. Why are they just not getting any respect for being overall the best team in this event over the 3 years?
I don't know. They're hard name. They got.
They have zero name value, but they are a legit team. Like they play together.
I agree.
The PGA
I
Tour as a
agree.
team.
They have zero name value, but what sort of name value should Glover and Reevy have?
I don't
to
know.
Be shorter than them. Like there's a lot of no name value in this field whatsoever. Lots to talk about. I do definitely agree. Like when you mentioned Louis and Charles, I was like, no, I'd rather be half part of the other South African with
EVR.
With not EVR, Harold Varner.
Oh, you want Gracie?
EVR's in here too with a decent team. With Wyndham.
Yeah, so that's a team
we can get up there. That's 90 to 1. That's a team that I have a star beside.
That's a team that I like because they don't have complementary skill sets whatsoever. But I think that Wyndham Clark makes up for a lot of what EVR sucks at, and EVR makes up for a lot of what Clark sucks at. Like Clark's going to bomb it. He's one of the biggest drivers on tour, and he's a really good putter. EVR is like an okay driver. There's a lot of water on this course, so that takes.
Yeah, but hopefully, like with the
but if he can get his irons and short game going, which he is good at, maybe Clark can make the putts.
Listen, they're both capable when they're on their own of being in contention and then like imploding. But maybe getting together will help them. Where like we can just get the good of each without the 3 bogeys in a row from EVR. Like the moment he's getting hot. So that's a little farther up than I wanted to start, but I do like that. No, I'm not betting HV3 and Grace, but I do like that more than Louis and Charles.
Me too.
Was all I was saying.
Varner's sneaky Sunday at Heritage.
And who is Louis? Like Louis couldn't have found a good international President's Cup partner.
He always plays with Charles.
Is that what he's been doing here? Because Louis is a great match play player, so maybe I don't want to sleep on him, but I don't want any part of this team.
No, they came T3 the first year, I think, or the second year. Fleetwood actually has 2 top 5s at this. Now he's not playing. Could have got his first PGA win, Jeff.
Decided to play last week and missed the cut because he was Andercursed. I have bet Team Oklahoma State Cowboy Victor Hovland and Ventura 45-1.
I actually like that team.
I got Victor Hovland at 45-1. I don't know, Ventura, just come along for the ride. Be the star. I don't care.
Make your putts, man. Just make your putts,
Christoph. Like, I don't know.
You handle the chipping. You handle the chipping and the putting, and like be really good at that to kind of counterbalance how like bad. Just have an average week, Vic, on the greens, and that team.
Yeah, but maybe Vic gets to like chip in and maybe make it an alt shot.
Yeah,
he does alt shot in better ball. Like, let's go. Free roll at those chips for Vic to hole out from.
It's just really funny to see some teams with name value like be really up in the odds, but Hovland, who's generally overvalued in the market, just gets no respect in this regard.
I don't know. I think it's a nice. Listen, it's not a perfect team. Like,
no, there's no perfect team.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, it's flawed, but it's not 6-1. It's not 20-1. It's not even 25-1 where we think Hatton is being undervalued. I don't know. It's enough for me to say I will pull the trigger there. And they got that. I mean, you mentioned other past teammate things. Other college teammates doesn't mean they like played tons together recently. I know that's a big thing. You can name it with a bunch of them, but we're gonna start there.
Okay, I can get on board with that. I might tell you on that.
The next team was also interesting, or the one just at the same price of the South Korean team of An and M.
Oh, I was going to say the Rose and Stenson.
Oh, that's also.
Do we want any part of that? Rose is one here.
I don't know. You're betting on. Now, that's a name value team, not getting any pricing. But
Rose coming off a pretty good Masters. Stenson coming off a pretty good Masters.
Playing his best golf in
a year.
Yeah.
Since he won the Hero.
What? I don't know.
I'm out on it, but I thought it was interesting to see that they were down there. I don't think I can. Anne has been horrible. Like, really bad.
All right. I've seen actually a lot of love for the Homa Gooch team.
I can completely
Gooch
understand
has Gooch statistically probably very underrated at the moment.
I don't think that he's underrated. I'm looking at the modeling right now. He's number 3 behind Hoffman and Cantlay.
I mean, underrated in the sense that like a lot of people might be like, whoa, Gooch. And I was surprised to see the broadcast spotlight him for this week.
I did not see that.
They did something of players they're excited to see next week.
And it was Taylor Gooch?
One of them dropped Taylor Gooch.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember who else made that little...
How's the Gucci man been playing? I haven't seen him in a while. I guess Valero would have been the last time he played? No, Honda was the last time he played. He's had back-to-back, like, pretty good weeks. 5th of the players, 46th at Honda, but he lost 3 strokes around the green and over 3 on the green. His ball striking was fucking off the charts at the Honda. So, yeah, but very sneaky team. Like, interesting. I don't know. I'm just a sucker, and I bet Brown and Kisner. Just that feels way too deep to me. And I bet them with the top 5, too, since they've come inside the top 5 2 of the 3 years that they've played this together. It's just like I'm going to end up betting Power and Hearn, who have never missed a cut here as a team. I don't know why they're good as a team, but apparently they're really good as a team. Probably bet them like top 10 or something like that. Probably not an outright win. Who else are you looking at here? You're staring pretty hard at that sheet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to make much of. Peters and Tom Lewis is a tricky...
That's just a good team. I bet you if you added up like overall world golf ranking...
That'd probably be pretty high.
Yeah.
It's a sneaky team. And the price lower, that I was hoping to get more on them. I don't know. Is Norlander?
Come on.
Noren finished what, like 21? That means I got to talk about him. That's a joke. Not really, though.
Well, there's no way that I'm not betting 2 of my favorite players on tour as a team somehow. And it might actually be a perfect format for Doug Gim. Because Gim is like, yeah, I'll go shoot -9. That's not a problem. Oh, I'll follow it up in the easiest conditions with 75.
I don't mind that.
So Gim and Suh. And Gim's been like popping at all these Pete Dye courses. So 70-1, you can find deeper odds on them too. So I'll be in on that. And I kind of want to bet Hoffman and Watney. Watney has been a train wreck for like 3 years, but every year they show up to this tournament, they've come. Hoffman and Watney have played together all 3 years in this event, tied for 9th, tied for 31st, and tied for 5th. And this is the best Hoffman's been playing since he's been coming in.
Hoffman, Watney, 90-1?
Yeah.
And we're doing EVR and Wyndham?
I don't know if I'm doing that for sure, but those are going to be my 3. Kisner, Brown, Gim, and Suh, and Watney and Hoffman. And that might just be my week. Keep a real low exposure week, and hopefully I have something to cheer for come Sunday. Because there's some fun pairings, like Seifert and Neesmith. Like that is that is the stat modeler's dream.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a pairing that I think I might see reading a lot of articles this week that works for people.
Does GMAC have anything in the tank? Because he's with Matt, he's with Matt Wallace.
Honestly, they could not have picked a partner that demoralized me more to see beside Wallace's name at the moment.
He couldn't have been like, hey, Fitzy, like, why don't we go play this tournament together?
Seriously, that's real. That was a really annoying pairing to see. Fun little. I guess you don't like the mix and match, the Keith Mitchell Snedeker.
I do not. No, that is the type of team that I want to stay away from.
Yeah, I do agree. Like you even see it in sports. Teams like, no, we got to be balanced. No, Atlanta Falcons, get that goddamn tight end. Be like good at what you're good at.
Yeah, that's why the Champ and Finau team is kind of intriguing. Like they might just overpower the course. If it plays like super easy and super soft, they're gonna be fucking great.
Like be even greater at what you're great at, and you'll suffocate people to death.
Well, I think that kind of roundabout way talks about Bryson and Reed and Morikawa in exactly the same way. Is they're not super concerned about coming T21 every single week in a bad week. It's a miscut or it's first or second place. Because they have that one thing where they overpower the field with their one great skill. And as a team, can you get that together? I think that's why Glover and Reevy work so well. They're another team who's actually been pretty good at this tournament and playing together. And like 50-1 is not great odds for them. But they have kind of similar skill sets. Like they're not long off the tee. They hit a ton of fairways. They're both really good iron players. They're both atrocious on the greens. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't like that Hogarth's with Von Taylor.
No, neither do I.
Like, who's his agent? Like, how did that get set up? That seems very, very random.
What about
have we gone crossing?
Yeah, we're crossing over.
Okay, yeah. So just a couple, I like to throw names, but I don't know. I actually don't hate what I'm about to say. A couple options.
If you're going to say Sam Ryder and Doc Redman, are you?
That was the first one I was going to mention.
Everyone has brought that team out to me. Has anyone looked at what Doc Redman has done for the past 3 months?
I saw he was like plus 10, and people really liked him last week.
I bet him his first round leader, but that was about it. Like, oh yeah, small greens, maybe get the irons. Like he has been objectively bad.
Okay, hold on.
In the Maya rankings,
I want to say one more before you get.
He ranks behind Woody Austin.
Okay. Over
the past 24 rounds.
Well, firstly, your boy Batya with past champion Piercy.
I was giving him a look.
but the team ahead of that, Uline and Werenski.
Uline coming off a decent week. Did he win?
I don't know.
I didn't see.
I was hoping you were gonna. I mentioned Uline. I was hoping you were gonna be able to fill in the fact that maybe Svensson won. I don't know.
I was rooting for Jan Svensson. I used to love playing Svensson when he had his tour card. He's like the tee to green master, and he'd always be $6,100.
Who else was there? It was Uline, Svensson, and Lovemark.
Lovemark. Remember when we bet Lovemark at this stupid event? We bet him and Ann, and they lost to fucking Brian Stewart in the playoff.
I bet Lovemark at a lot of stupid events.
Where are we at here? Can we get to Corn Ferry to see who ended up winning? Uline won. He won by 4 over Lipsky and Lovemark.
And Werenski's not playing bad.
Do you know that for a fact? He had the one run at Bay Hill. Do you know anything that he's done besides that?
I don't think he's playing. I'm going to hold to the fact. I think
past 5 tournaments. Give me your lines on Richie Werenski.
No, I don't care about the finishes. I mean, like statistics. Like I think we're going to see green.
Let's see.
I'm going to see way more green than red show up right now.
Really? Way more green than red? What would we say there? We can zoom in on that.
All right.
What do we think, Paul?
It's red.
Looks a bit red.
Yeah, my head's down in shame.
4th at the API though, and then 3 consecutive miscuts.
Yeah, you like Hearn and Power more than obviously Pan and Zhang?
Yeah. I don't know what it is about Hearn and Power. I really don't know. I feel like Seamus was kind of like in contention at this Corn Ferry event too. Maybe I'm wrong. No, he came 9th.
I could see Steele and Keegan like pulling a sink, but I don't want to bet on them.
I'm completely with you. Just if one of those guys runs pure on the greens,
the other one just needs to hold their own, and they're going to be crazy because both of them.
They are the perfect type of team. Yeah. But they are a perfect example of a team that I look at and be like, oh, they're basically the same guy.
Literally the same guy.
So
I think
that's what I
and
should
at
be betting
Honda,
on.
we probably spoke about them as like the same guy.
They both played pretty well at
They
Honda.
both played very well in Honda.
Any fun teams? You pumped for JB Holmes and Robert Garrigus? Do you think that by the time that JB Holmes has to like go address his ball and take his 20 minutes, Garrigus is going to be off in the woods like smoking joints?
Probably. Maybe I should have mentioned this team earlier because I don't know, they just fit in a group. But Lanto, everyone seems to like, and Damon, like for all the love Gooch and Homer are getting,
They're a similar skill set.
Yeah, I see it like a very maybe overall big picture PGA talent equality there, and one of them is 65 and the other one's 35.
You know who I actually had interest in? It'll probably just be like a first round leader, top 20 bet. I don't even know what odds are going to offer on stupid stuff like that this week. But if you go to the very bottom of the odds board, what two names do you see?
I see Burgoon and Hank.
That is not
Giglick and Whaley.
Yeah. Whaley, not bad. He's not a bad player. And how do you pronounce this guy's name?
The
Gigs?
Gilgit?
He's Canadian, so we should probably know this. But I feel like these, like, Whaley hasn't missed a cut since Phoenix. 50th, 15th, 36th, 28th, 34th. Like, he's not a bad player. Can really get a rolling with a flat stick, too, on Bermuda at the same time. And then Glilich, or the Gillich?
Michael Glilich, I think.
Paul, what do you got on this one?
I'm saying Glidgic.
Glidgic?
It's not.
How do you know? You don't even know what the name is.
No, because I've heard it. Like
he's been bad, became fourth in that, so he's just been straight up bad.
Because that guy used to be on like Corn Ferry leaderboards or Canadian Tour leaderboards that they used to feel forced to spotlight, like coming in and out of commercials. So I've heard announcers say the name, and by announcers,
I think I got him confused with Roger Sloan.
No, this guy's also Canadian.
No, that's why I'm getting them confused. Roger Sloan's a guy who's like not bad.
Okay, maybe. Two guys that have kind of played their best golf in a while. I don't know that it means anything, but Harrington and Putnam brother Andrew.
How do you think Andrew Putnam has done lately?
Okay, maybe in the last like 3 weeks it's been horrible, but I know that he made more money like in a month than he made all of last year because I had him in fantasy last year.
Yeah, he turned it around and then he turned it right back around. Where's
too bad.
Where's the Chris Baker team? That's what I was looking for.
I don't have it.
Are they not on the list?
You know, I've looked at this whole sheet up and down.
I might have forgot him off the very bottom of the page. But it's Chris Baker, the birdie maker, and someone else. Unless I got bumped from the field.
Stewart and Knox. That's like a very similar team, right?
Stewart's won here before too.
Yeah, he won the one that we had that
screwed us.
That was
there's teams not even on this list. Here we go. Bo Van Pelt and Luke List. 250 to 1. Sang Moon Bay and Danny Lee? Someone Lee. Just says Lee.
It's Danny Lee.
300 to 1. No, I don't see this Baker team here at all. Kraft and Tway, they play really well together. They're 200 to 1. That's a first round leader bet for sure. Yeah. Anyway, crapshoots of the week. Oh, there was the team right there. It's Malnati and Baker is the team.
You could talk me into that. But Malnati's fallen off a cliff since since I saw a lot of, there was like a lot of very positive iron play for Malnati from Christmas through like February. It's probably gone now.
All right, let's get to the quick picks for the Zurich Classic. Once again, we're just taking stabs in the dark here. I am going to go with Brown and Kisner, 60 to 1. Hoffman and Watney, 90 to 1. Gim and Suh at 70 to 1. Those are going to be my three plays. I'll release the cheat sheet. I'll probably maybe add a few top 20s or first round leaders. Maybe not, though. I might just sit this one out besides those three. Although I'm kind of with you on Ventura and Hovland.
Yeah.
And maybe Grace and Varner and maybe...
really? Grace and Varner?
Yeah, I think those would be my favorite. Unless I go with Horschel and Burns. I'm going to feel like such a jabroni. Like Horschel and Burns and who were the other two we just said? Steele and Keegan. I feel like those two are going to be popular. If one of them hits, I'm going to feel like an idiot for not taking it. Like I felt with Stuart Sink, not taking him. And Wyndham
Burns
Clark,
and Horschel will for sure be the most popular. It's a number that like works, and there's a lot of that like narrative street stuff for it. I like the Clark EVR team too.
Yeah, I might throw those on the back end. They're all deep odds, though. Like, I'm starting my card at 60. So I might take one shot at one of these other teams. Maybe it turns out to be Willett and Hatton. I don't know. I have a few days to figure all this out.
Maybe it ends up being Champ and Finau, and they get bumped to 22.
I mean, Tony Finau's on that team. They're not dropping. I'll put it in the newsletter. Go subscribe to the newsletter. You can find that in the description. And you can find the Listeners League link in there as well. I'm in at 1,500 spots this week because I figured there'd be no interest in this tournament. But it's filling up really quickly if you want a spot.
I have bet Hovland and Ventura.
Okay.
And I feel like you definitely sold me on Watney and Hoffman.
Because they said that they play well together?
They play well together. Hoffman's been great.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. Like, the recent stats hold up. I don't know what he did yesterday. He was playing with McNeely, who probably trained him in a match.
Well, he was like, I think Hoffman was 4 over in his round at one point, and he finished it even.
Yeah, no, I like a lot of...
Nick Watney has missed 13 consecutive cuts. Just have your putter show up, pal.
No, I don't like that. That sucks.
Yeah, he's not good, but apparently they play well together. It's the same logic of betting Brown and Kisner. Like, Scott Brown's not good. Kisner's not even great, but together, they're fine. So,
and I could do something. Willett or Hatton, like, definitely, or Burns and Horschel. Willett and Hatton might just be a pivot for me because I'm such a big fan of both of them. Like, of every team under 30-1, my fandom is definitely the highest for the two guys, like a combinedness there.
Yeah, I think that's the way to play this week. Don't bother looking too much into it. Just bet the two guys that you like that are playing together. Like, that's why I kind of want to bet Neesmith and Seifert. So I like those guys. Yeah, well, I'd like to see them do well.
I mean, listen, it's easier to just sort of throw a few bucks on the 80-1 or
that's what I'm saying.
It's a less goes into that decision and money than me deciding Hatton, because if I bet Hatton and Willett and they gas can, I'm gonna be
out of
you
money.
Have an well, yes, but when you bet a guy at that part where he's probably gonna be the short, if I do bet it, it's the shortest bet on my card. My expectation is a lot higher than the guy have it 80-1.
Yeah,
always.
No, I completely agree. Kurt Kitayama on the European.
That's sort of when we talk about winning and win equity. I'm going to bet this guy at 16-1. If he doesn't win, he really pissed. It's he has to win for him not to disappoint the bet.
Yes.
Well, a guy at 80-1,
you just want him kind of there.
Yes, he has to
make a run.
He has to win for you to win your bet. But you could kind of take a victory lap when he comes in 4th place.
Well, no, I think it's the expectation level. Just because, someone like Wallace, for example, I bet at 80-1 last week.
Yeah.
Now, if he had come inside the top 5, it would have been much better for me. He did not, but he was there. He was in 4th place going into Sunday. It's he can make a run.
You took that loss a lot. You took him stinking the joint a lot
better than Morikawa.
Yeah,
put it that way.
Yeah, of course. That's what I was trying to say.
Anyway, that will do it for us. I'll be back with DraftKings picks. No live show this week, but I have my Oscars picks coming up. Ton of NFL draft content. I got a bunch of great guests lined up. I think me, you, and Cuss are going to talk some props at some point over the weekend or next week, so we can find out who not to bet with Tim and to see his new updated power rankings of the quarterbacks that he likes the best from this draft. Spoiler alert, it's Zach Wilson, who was previously ranked as last on his list, now mysteriously has risen up to the top of Cuss power rankings of draft QBs. Trevor Lawrence sucks now, by the way, according to Cuss.
Yeah, he's CFL bound.
Yeah, CFL Trevor Lawrence. Anyway, follow Jeff on Twitter at GFienberg17. Follow me at the PME. Become a member at fantasynational.com. Use /Mayo at the end to get yourself 20% off. PGA Championship coming up. So, pretty good week to jump in and kind of test out the stats and get acclimated with fantasynational.com. Smash like, leave a rating and review, and that'll do it for me. Thank you all for watching. Good luck this week. I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!